Complete solutions have been a market trend for a long time, and we have seen that in real estate subcontracting as well as in sales and marketing, or even in other areas of real estate business. Today we have one of the biggest players in interiors, the business of interiors, Narsi. And today I also have a very young second generation entrepreneur from Narsi, Jagdish to talk to us all about the latest developments in interiors and how project managers can make the best use of them. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Nair.
First of all, tell me, what are the kinds of things that have happened lately that you would like to inform the project managers of real estate companies?
So let's start off by saying that since the past 2.5 years, the offices that people had planned to put in offices, the turnaround time, which was eventually very less, people wanted to have very less turnaround time so that people can move in, the end customer can move in, and the facility is ready, by that
save all the
time.
interest.
Right, and save on interest. So to make that possible, it all comes down to the one who's making it on the shop floor. So for us, it's a challenge to give completion dates. So for that, we need to go around and map every possible thing that goes on to the project, right from the day we move in to the completion date. So there are a lot of things that goes into it, and for us, it's been for Narsi, it's been 36 years now in the industry, and we've come a long way from traditional working to integrating technology now in the 21st century. So it's been good. We've got good growth rate as well. India is a market, it's a developing market, developing economy, and a lot of offices, a lot of MNCs are coming here and exploring India, since India is rich with resources. So it's growing, and the market is positive for us.
Okay. Jagdish, you have been a second generation entrepreneur, but I'm sure you must have seen this right from when you were a toddler, how your father has been doing business in interiors. How much has things changed from your dad's generation to your generation? Because now you are about to, or rather, you are hands-on in this business. So what are the kind of differences that you find between his way of doing business and yours?
So these differences could be mapped from communication, how communication used to happen back then between the teams, between the stakeholders on the project. So back then, it used to take time, right? At present scenario, we are on cloud. Documents are shared, live documents are being shared. People are aware what's going on. So communication has taken a big leap. Then in terms of the quality of resources that are being deployed on a project has also improved. Since we've got people who are with us since the past 20-25 years. So the way of working back then and now, so people have evolved, how things used to happen back then and how things are happening today as well. We've got a mix of all age groups, right from, for example, Mr. Narsi, he's 56, Mr. Atish, who's the CEO, he's 40, and I'm 28. So we've got a mix of, all generations. So we sit across the table, we brainstorm, we talk about systems, processes, what needs changes or what's being outdated, and so I believe that we've got the advantage, the first movers advantage in the industry. Right from the manufacturing facility to adopting technology, not just in manufacturing but also at projects, at site. So the entire there's a big ecosystem that we've created for the brand Narsi, where it makes the life of everyone who is involved in the project easy, right from the project manager at site, to my procurement team, to our site team, to our factory team. So all of this we've put on a software which maps all of these things, right from procurement to finances.
That software is made by you or yourself, or is it you buy it across the counter?
We custom built it.
Achha.
Custom built it. It's been what now 5 years since we've been using it, and as and when there are changes that are required, we do it. So it's very helpful, and if you compare it with how things used to work back in my father's when he initially started, so it's a big difference how things have come across. So back then we started off from say about 5 crores turnover to now we're talking about 700 to 800 crores. So
okay.
So when you have such big a turnover, you need to map your resources as well, and we've been doing it. We've got big
Do you ever
plans
feel
laid out
that
as well.
things are getting out of control because the company is too big?
So my father has got this assumption that if you put in too many systems, it's going to be difficult for him to handle. Right now it's easy, it happens on a call, right from finances to deploying a resource at a site. So he says you put in so many processes and technologies, it might get difficult. I said
Absolutely right.
It won't.
Absolutely right.
So I've given him an example that whenever we sit and talk about some expenses on about 40 projects that are going on in India right now. So if we pick up one project and talk about it, he's well versed with every project, every cost that has gone into that project, and but when we talk, I said there's too much going on. I'm involved in at factory also, at projects also. So you need to have a process that you can state out. You can on a click of a button, you can get the data, and we've been able to do it. And so we've got a lot of reports that are coming out, which helps us to evaluate if we are doing if we are doing good, or this certain project or a certain process that requires our attention. If we are spending in too much or less resources or too much resources.
Jagdish, there are a lot of other interesting questions to ask you on that particular point of the difference in generation, but I'll keep that for a bit. Before that, let me also ask you, how did this particular company, Narsi, evolve? I mean, how did it begin, and if you could tell us briefly.
So my father, he always tells us to all our clients, to the team members at Narsi, that he himself, he calls himself as a shilpkar, he is a craftsman himself. He started off as a carpenter, and so he knows every particular detail that goes on into carpentry or into interior fit out works. And we belong from Rajasthan. Our origins from Rajasthan. I've been born and brought up here in Bombay, but he spent his life. He started off at the age of 18. He went to Muscat. He worked there. He worked with foreign stakeholders over there. How he was involved in making of a palace in Muscat. I don't remember the name, but the kind of detailing that goes over there in Muscat, that back in 1980s or 82. And since he was back, he founded this company when he was 22. So, since then there's no looking back. Back then, when there was a team of say about 10 people in the office. Those 10 people are still there in the office, right beside him. So that's how we consider them as an asset.
That was in Mumbai?
Yes, in Mumbai. Okay. He was back. He was abroad for about 4 years. Once he was back, in a year's time, he founded this company.
And how, there is a lot of emphasis on complete solutions. So how does a company like yours involved in interiors provide complete solutions? And before we come into the challenges of doing that, for a project manager of a real estate company or architects, what can they expect from a provider of complete solutions in interiors?
See, having one point of contact or one stop interior fit out solution provider helps you, eases the workload on a lot of coordination or reliability on a lot of different partners.
Right.
So back in 2005, when we put up our first manufacturing plant, so there we could add some more value to to the product that we are giving in much lesser time. It is factory finished, has a very linear and a very a finish that is usually not found in the market. So from there on, we started giving value to the end customer. Even the project management consultants to the end client, they were happy with the kind of service that was provided by Narsi. Where at site jobs were being done and modular furniture which used to come in, and we used to assemble it at site, be it from wall paneling to tables to running counters to storages. With that, with time we do design and build, we do GC contracts as well, where all MEP and HVACs, all of the services are being taken care by us.
And in terms of commercial real estate, there has been so much of new things happening in commercial real estate in terms of interiors also. How has commercial real estate been of, or rather, how much business have you been able to do from commercial real estate?
This has been our primary area where we focus currently. All commercial real estate, corporate offices is what our forte is. So there's been big change in design as well. In corporate offices, you see, back in the days you used to have a lot of cabins, solid spaces everywhere, solid walls, but now it's all
open
changed
space.
to open spaces, agile spaces, less turnover time. Where one fine day someone moves in and says that I want to change all of this, so you've got false floor, false services running, you can change it, map it according to your requirements. You've got furniture now which is adaptable to such requirements. You've got demountable partitions to fixed partitions. All of that has with technology and with rigorous innovation, I think there are a lot of products that are used in
you make a lot of sense, because nowadays I also believe that in terms of shared offices, if the entire setup is changed according to the branding required by the end user who is going to occupy that place. So, and it's amazing to see how much change can they bring about. I mean, one day you go to the same office, it looks very different, and the next day you go to a different guy who is occupying that place, and the entire place looks so different. You won't believe that it's the same building and the same place.
Right. So it all depends on how have you designed it, what fixtures and materials you've used it. So it's easy to change spaces and move your furniture and change your graphics and wallpapers. So it's easy now comparatively. That's why a lot of architects now prefer demountable partitions.
Is it easy?
It's easier now. Comparing
to the old days,
comparing with breaking walls to putting in partitions, it's much easier.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, in terms of project managers of all these commercial real estate, how do you meet their demands? I'm sure if there are 4 project managers, there'll be 5 different opinions.
Right. Right. Just for example, we were pitching for a project, a massive project. So for that, they wanted us to have a plan in place of how much time would we take to complete it, schedule, procurement with execution, because it's a massive project. I'm talking about interior fit out project which of worth 400 crores, which is massive.
Okay.
So how do you map all of this? Because we've got other projects going on at the factory plus team deployed. So all of that, to map all of that, it is our expertise, our value engineering, where we come up with how can we do it, in what time span can we do it. So we sit across on the drawing board, we discuss on resources, we discuss on the speed of manufacturing also. So this is also very important, because it's very much required right now for you to have the information about your capacity, your capability. So I know that in an hour's time, how much square feet of finished product can we manufacture, ship it and assemble at site. So that you can know those numbers once you have the system and process in place. So we were able to tell them the lead times, and the progress that we would do every fortnight. So that's how we were able to put value and impress the end customer as well, plus the project management consultants as well, that we would be able to do it in the time span that we've discussed.
And how much has things changed in terms of millennials like you coming into the business from the project management side of real estate companies, basically commercial real estate? We also hear that that's a whole new world that is emerged from the new project managers. It's no more the same old demands, the same old things that they want. So how much has changed and how do you meet those demands?
See, now the project managers would require everything ready and at their fingertips. If they ask us, when is this particular item reaching at site, or when do we complete this space, the information should be ready. That this is happening at the back end, this is happening, this would be completed in this time span. So they are looking at fixed, dedicated timelines where you complete this particular space or area in this much time. So this is what project managers are looking at right now, because no delays are accepted in the current scenario where people are investing in money. You can see the market has been very competitive because of the last 1.5-2 years.
Okay.
And but we see a lot of development happening in terms of the infrastructure that big IT giants or bankings or these MNCs or Indian giants are doing in India.
Okay, Jagdish, let me be more specific in that question. See, there are real estate developers who would tell us that in Bangalore, who would tell us that the end customer in Chennai will have a different kind of requirement. For instance, most people in Chennai would insist on brick and mortar buildings. But if you come to Bangalore, which is not more than probably 6 hours drive or 8 hours drive from Chennai, you have end users who want all the latest technologies, right from building constructions to interiors to everything. So the complete profile is different, and so that's why developers say that whenever you are in a particular region, you need to be aware of the ethos of the place.
Right.
For instance, North Indians, they are very somber in their color, or rather South Indians are more sober in their color. But if you go to the north, people would love to have carpet tiles like this, very colorful ones. So in your experience, how has it been when you deal with pan-India projects across the country?
So usually how it happens is that in pan-India, I would show you pictures of offices in Bangalore, an office in Delhi, one in say east, but you won't make the difference if it's in east or in south or in north, because the design flow is as such that all architects designing, you can play with graphics, but right now the building materials that are used are all which are used in the current the current how the industry is moving. That's the way that the industry is moving. So you would see a set of design that usually has some flow. It won't differ from something which is in north or in south or in east. It's all basic. It's an office. You could either play with graphics, but then your building elements, your interiors, it's majorly remains the same. Yeah, it depends on your choices of color, depends on the end client. It could be, for example, we are doing something for Netflix, so that is, all these editors and their team that sits in Netflix has a different, way of working. So their workspace looks different.
Their expectations are different.
Expectations are different. They need a lot of acoustics in their offices.
Absolutely.
But if you compare it with an Infosys or a TCS, it's different. But then you can't really make out if it's south. The regions, it's not region specific. It's client specific.